I spent quite a bit of time a while ago under a tree, 4 months under a tree, and I think I did end up a bit mental by the end of it. And the upshoot was that while dragging lots and lots of people through a swamp that was about to have a highway put through, I ended up with a face-to-face meeting with a tiger snake. And I think all of my poems since have, they're still saying what they're saying, but they've all ended up with snakes in them. So, and I keep running into snakes everywhere. So this was written near Roe Swamp, which is Waluba, which is designated by Colin Barnett to have a 6-lane highway through it. And
yay!
Yeah.
Colin?
Okay, this is called Collateral. Crushed and baked into bitumen, permanent marking an S it should have slipped through a second or two sooner. A black snake made blue. I had sat beside it in an hour of thirsty heat, watching cars arrive as globules from a vanishing point. Deciding to claim part of it, I eased one finger under the tail and lifted it as one rigid piece into my pack. Looking back to where it had been, I found no trace, no shadow, imprint, hard tar, a finished business. And then good things happened. I was really tired. I got really tired and pretty depressed under this government and quite anxious. And it's passing, but one of the things my poetry mentor said to me was, put it in poetry, like just write it out and just keep doing what you're doing and give them to me, and I've got something coming up that will mean it goes out into the world in a really big way. And what I didn't understand at the time was he was going to put it in Poetry Chicago, which is, he was guest editing. It's the largest poetry magazine in the world and the oldest journal. T.S. Eliot's Proofrock was published in there the first time. And it's with some fucking amazing poets from Australia. It's Ali Cobby Eckermann and Lionel Fogarty, some of the most brilliant Indigenous poets here. So I'm going to read one of Ali's poems, but I'm going to, I'll read a couple of mine in here too. The first one's called The Long Dry. I live across the road from, it was an old nursing home and it's become single men's accommodation, so there's a lot of profiteering happening from that, which, there's no one there caring for the people living there. It's, they're just, being charged $200 a week rent, and there's a lot of mess out my front window. So this is Long Dry. There's an epigram from Guy Debord, who wrote, "Madness hath builded her house in the high places of the city. Men are hanging themselves, unaccompanied by sound in the dark hours before the bottle shop opens. Rope snaking a branch of pepper tree at the lodging house. Empty tenement, dark windows bruised by sky, lighting rookeries of collapse and fire, crumbling out until the whole street is vacant and mud-caked. In ragged brown of summer verticordia, I peed near a midden of fleshy arrows heaped at an anthill entrance, watched them drag seed deep in stilling acacia and dirt. Withering of certainty spits hisses, the swamps filling with drill holes guarded by adders, air churned with a fierce screaming, warra, warra. Dumbbell of yield and sequence. Through years of discipline, I learned containment, or vice versa, as natural as speech-like, upward spiral of spell. A nested equivalence, this woundedness, pinned fury, petering in honey-eater as a falcon plucks its way to the warm core, feathers wafting down to soft aeromophila. Sentences in the Bible begin with "and God," as if starting was difficult and well populated, an excess of tangle and downcast in need of names. The roof rats went quietly once. The python escaped to the ceiling rafters of my father's house, its coagulation of coils echoing shapes of a nearby bogon moth. I kind of like clapping because it clears the air between the poems. I was born in Port Hedland and I spent my whole childhood in Kimberley-Pilbara region. And I hadn't actually lived in a house till we came to Perth, which was a bit of a shock to me. I still have that urge to, take off. And I've got to say, a lot of the time lately I've felt the urge to take off and found it kind of unsatisfactory. I think I prefer to stand. This is a poem about that. It's about global warming. It's called Krait, Broom. How slow an approach when viewed from a distance. How more likely the encounter if the ground is clear. A voice saying always, go ahead, calls it freedom. Above the 27th parallel is the heat I know as home in my bones, always untouched by city's cool centrifuge that refracts a kind of light which bursts and vanishes on the spot. Heading north, I escape the fray, green hem of the outskirts, roadside facade of forest, hiding a casement of burnt earth as silent as myself. Outside, a poet goes to the window, writing back into life his night parrots. I drive lines from water to water, guzzle roadhouse coffee. Warming up, there is a conflict of appetite. A suburban tree black with cockatoos shucking almonds. A dolphin trapped in a rock pool. Cane toads storming the Kimberley in sweat find it planted with sugar. An olive python curled under a van, belly beaded with feral kittens. After 3 days of seated travel, I'd lunge from the car, sprint the length of the jetty, deaf to the man screaming warning. Only in mid-air do I look down to the sea, the time it takes to panic. 2 yellow and black Krait, vivid bandwidth of danger, turning on the turquoise surface, and all I can do is fall.
I'm going to read it now. He says, my dearest Pauline, you are my humble queen. Queen of our Omo Australia. With my weapons and nukes, we'll rid us of good darkies and live in a paradise come true. You're ready to rule us. You're chomping at the bit. You're better than Abbott. He's full of shit. And Turnbull. Tony Abbott was jealous, so he threw you in jail. But the truth has set me free. And his evil plan failed. Now you are back. You've got a new party. One abomination. And things are getting farty. I think of you a lot, Pauline, especially when I'm alone. Seeing you talking on the telly screen makes me toss and moan. I'm such a dog for you, Pauline. Oh, he knows Queensland speak. I'm such a... Where are we? I'm such a dog for you, Pauline. I want to be your root rat. The ones... I'm in my Aussie underdacks. The ones that show my bum crack. Oh, how tantalising. Oh, yours sincerely, Blair. Bloody hell. That's what you expect people of Australia. I mean, how are we going to take over this country? But never mind. I look forward to the hope and support from the UPF. And now, I think we have 1 or 2 more, and I'm afraid I forgot about you, Kamala. Did you still want to do a song or something?
I've got a couple of things prepared.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm terribly sorry. But here we go. Now, Kamala is a loony activist from the Socialist Alliance. Here she is, and she's also campaigning for the Senate and competing with me.
So I've got a couple of pieces. I wrote two this week, and I'm just not sure whether to do one or both of them, but we'll just see. Because they're both about the same thing. I just couldn't tell which one was better. So I'll start with one called Climate Fate. And there are 4 stories in this poem, and they're actually all true. And even the details you wouldn't believe, but anyway, it's actually true. So I'm just going to do that, that's better. I was sitting in the waiting room when you flashed across the screen. A heatwave smothered India, and you were on the scene. As you tried to cross the street, your shoe stuck to the road. So you ran on scorched bare feet as the black tar slowly flowed. Where once there were straight white lines, a crazy pattern morphed and swirled, as if a giant with a paintbrush splashed out and dwarfed the world. You long for cooling rain, but the monsoon will be late. And this is how some people face their climate fate. You're a woman of Maharashtra. Farm life is what you know, with the earth so cracked and bare, nothing green can grow. As the debt piles up for the chemicals and seed, as you wonder how to fill the many mouths you have to feed, as you turn to your husband to say, somehow you will cope, you see in his eyes that there's no more room for hope. The nightmare just gets worse, the day you lose your mate. And this is how some people face their climate fate. You've lived in Karachi all of your life, there with your kids, your parents, your wife. Last year the heatwave rolled in and swept 1,000 lives away. Overwhelmed the morgue, corpses left out to decay. This time you swear you will be ready and not have to face that smell of those left to rot, the very place they fell. So you dig out mass graves today and pray for rain while you wait. And this is how some people face their climate fate. When Sandy struck New York, you'd left for somewhere calm. Flew back when it was over, once you knew you'd meet no harm. Another superstorm hits. It won't be too inconvenient, even if next time Mother Nature is less lenient, for you've bought yourself a condo with rooms sealed watertight, floodgates, pumps, power and emergency light. So you gamble on the oil stocks, knowing you'll be all right, mate. And this is how some people face their climate fate. It's a kind of simple kind of a one. Anyway, this is about an incident that happened when Rosie and I were at home a couple of months ago, 6 weeks ago, I can't remember. And it's about a tree that got chopped down and we couldn't save it. So it was just in the neighbourhood, just, one more tree being felled as part of the, trees get cleared, and I think sometimes that the reports that get made about, is this tree safe or not safe, I think pretty much any tree, or any gum tree anyway, could probably drop a limb, right? So I think any tree could be condemned just for that, and I actually think that's probably what happened to this tree. And it was a shade tree, and birds loved it, and it's not there anymore. So it's just called Tree. I don't know your story. Whoever really could? All that I know is you're more than just wood. You sheltered bees in a world where they're dying. Now for your crime, you're sentenced. I'm crying. Cockatoos and galahs shrieked, it seemed, in dismay at your pruning. But now this, what will they say? The hive hollowed you out. So, in spite of your shade, your sequestration of CO2 someone made, what you give to the birds, what you give to the bees, you're being cut down in the city bush squeeze. Seems not only might you drop a limb on someone, but you're in the way of the badge, car and gun. Constable care, it seems, needs more space. And a driveway, a heat sink is taking your place. I grieve at your falling. Mourn, I could not stop it. Add my voice to the calling, a tree, do not chop it.
Yay!
So this one is about the same thing that got me upset with the earlier poem, and it's called When the Climate Comes for You. And it's important for us, I mean, a lot of people in the rich countries think that climate change is something that's not going to happen to us. And if you read the science, you know it's already happening, and you know it's already going to come for us even worse. So although that previous poem was trying to blow apart a little bit that myth that we're all on spaceship Earth and we're all in the same boat, because some people have got the lifeboats and some people are going to be like on the Titanic, locked away from the lifeboats and shot if they try to get on the lifeboats. But we're certainly in the same boat as the ordinary people here. If you're not, super duper rich, we are in the same boat. So this one's called When the Climate Comes for You, and it has a few opinions in it. Past sick, sadistic tyrants made each victim dig their grave, mowed them down without mercy in wave after wave. But now the heat is the trigger for the many by the few. Will you be ready when the climate comes for you? In Karachi they'll be ready when the tide of death rolls in, when the poor and frail fall prey to the oil baron's sin. This time the corpses won't lie rotting, morgues overfull anew. Will you be ready when the climate comes for you? Mass graves are dug as the local people wonder who will die and who'll survive the planetary plunder. Will the very ones who dig the graves be swallowed by them too? Will you be ready when the climate comes for you? From the heat wave of South Asia to the drought of California, first the scientists spoke up, now Mother Nature's out to warn you. Burning coal and oil and gas, releasing all that CO2. Will you be ready when the climate comes for you? A new epoch is upon us. Climate chaos, the new normal. As we strive to cope, we'd better make people's power structures formal. Bury this greed-driven system before it buries you. Will you be ready when the climate comes for you? Oil giants, warmongers, banksters, you who profit from disasters, we're not content to count the dead and have you stay as masters. Grave diggers for each other or for the filthy, filthy few? Will they be ready? Will you be ready when the people come for you?